You keep flipping it up and taking it down and flipping it around. They probably can't see it.
What do you mean?
You gotta leave it up there for them to be able to see it.
Yeah, well, I was getting back into that, so. All right. I'm going to record this, and I'll send it to you if you have an issue.
Eric, did you hear me? I keep losing you guys.
Are you on your iPad?
Yeah.
And you're not able to see it?
No.
This sounded terrible.
I'll send it to you when I'm done. You can listen.
Yes. I got it.
Okay, good. All right, in tools, under the product flow, there's the BOH updating procedures guide and the store orders product flow basics. I've been going over this with each manager recently, trying to show you guys how I do it, which is a little bit different than what they explained in that. I use the Meyer numbers. I use their symbol, and I go through and I scan the holes, and I do item inquiry with a pick list, which gives me the ability to see what's coming in or what should be coming in. So I'm able to see if it's something that's in transit, which is in that BOH guide. You know, some of them don't get updated till 6 p.m. So a lot of that can be confusing, and if you do it the way that I do it, it makes it a little bit easier because you can pretty tell if it's on its way in or if it's already there or if it should have been there days ago and you didn't get it. But I do have a video of that, which I'll send to you guys as well. A step-by-step process on how to do it to make it easy for you. We should be checking BOHs at least once a week, but most likely, if you want your whole count to be down, 2 times a week would be ideal.
Monday and Friday.
Monday and Friday, most likely. You have to get with your stores and whoever's in charge of approving it, because I've heard a lot of people say, I don't have anyone to approve it. Well, this is something we need to set up with our supermarket managers and our store directors. They need to be involved because someone saying they're too busy and they don't have time is just keeping them loaded with holes. If they don't have time to approve the holes, then we don't have time to worry about them. I'm sure they don't like that option, so they'll make time for us. I mean, I talked to store directors and they didn't know that answer was given, so we want to make sure that we're getting them involved in it too. So that way when it comes time for them to complain about our holes, we can tell them exactly why they're not getting filled. But it makes it pretty simple. You work it out with your store. What time works best? I know a lot of them leave early, so you have to have it in by noon or 10 so that they can approve them all. So that's something that we'll have to work out. And if you have an issue with that, don't hesitate to contact me. I can get involved and help you through that process. I know that just me talking to some of them, it's a little bit better understood. So don't hesitate. But we do need to work on checking the holes, updating the BOHs. You know, when I ask people when the last time your store was scanned and you tell me 2 weeks, that's not acceptable. If I count 100 plus holes and you haven't done a hole count in 2 weeks, well, there's a reason why. That's something that we need to make sure we're taking care of. We need to take ownership of it because it's creating holes for us, and we need every dollar we can get, honestly. We want to keep pushing sales, DSD sales, KE. Even with the Kellogg, you know, we got to check the numbers just to make sure they're right. That's usually pretty quick, but for the most part, it's KE and Servue, and we just need to stay on top of that. I know getting involved in that multiple times a week has improved whole counts at multiple stores, so we want to keep doing that. Like I said, I'll send you the video on how to do that and explain it. Pretty simple procedure. Some of you guys already do it, some of you don't understand it, so we'll do that as needed. But I will send you the video, and anything you don't understand, let me know. So you want to manage the product through BOHs. You want to make sure you're using your tools, that kind of thing. All this information is right in tools on how to update your BOHs, when things get put into the system. And like I said, some of that can be confusing. The way I do it, it'll make it a lot easier. M plans, we need to make sure that we're checking the management portal twice daily. You should do it when you're doing your survival walks. I know some people say, oh, I do a survival walk in my head. Well, I can't read your head, so I need it on paper. You guys have gotten real good at completing those. The percentage of people that do it every day has improved drastically, and I appreciate that. When I come in and I look at your survival walk and they're done, that makes me happy. That you guys are actually following the directions and doing what you're supposed to do and making your people do the same. Let's see. We got 4S reports. We're going to be getting these in the mail. I think I sent this to you guys last time, and I try and update you with any information I get. This 4S report is something that we're going to be going over with the store directors. I currently do this. We're going to involve you as store managers to get involved with your supermarket managers and your store directors. Go over this information with them. What you'll do is you'll have the information, we'll have it printed off, go over it, try and memorize some of the key numbers. So that way when you go to them, they understand you know what you're talking about. If you just give them a piece of paper and tell them, I don't know what's on there, they're not going to listen. They're going to throw it away. When you go to them and say, hey, look, I got Meyer Torts a 32 direct margin, whereas your Frito-Lay is 6% direct margin, that's going to catch their attention. They want sales just as much as we do, and we want to give them the options. We want to make sure that their options are first serve you product. We have a high direct margin on a lot of our items where most competitors can't touch, so we want to push that to them. I think Meyer brand is helping them, but that's all in this report, which, you guys get this. It tells you how much you're up for the period. These are numbers that we just want to go over to the store with. Hey, look, here's what we're doing in the stores. Here's the contest that we're having. Here's the success that we're having. We're up 25% on this product, and here's all the information. You'll see areas for the serve you percent change versus the grocery. So grocery's up 1.7 or down 1.7. We're up 2.07. So as an area, we're up 3.76% above Meyer. And that's huge for us. We want to continue to push that. We want to continue to outpace Meyer Grocery. In here with the smaller numbers, it breaks it down, which you probably can't see that well. Breaks it down by store, so you can see where you're at this year versus last year. And if you're one of those stores that are up, going to the store director and saying, look, you guys were down, however many dollars, whereas we were up. So that means that we're doing something right. We're trending up. You don't want to throw it in their face that they're down, but you can bring it to them. Hey, look, while you guys were down, we were still pushing sales. We were still making you money. They like that kind of stuff. Store directors like numbers. They want numbers that they can go back to their boss with, and other store directors. Scott and I were in a store the other day, and the store director, hey, we're this number out of all the stores for Servue, for KeHE. He had all these numbers, and he was pretty happy about that. He was happy how much we had accomplished in his store. So, that gives him bragging rights.
Know who your store director likes to compete with, too, because that makes a big difference if you can show them their competition. They're very competitive people.
Yeah. These reports, they have the opportunities, Meyer brand chips on the border. When you go to them, you want to find out what the direct margin is. When you get these displays, you want to make sure that the office knows, send them the information that they need so they can supply you with product. You don't want to offer up a display and then halfway through, it's empty because you didn't alert the office that we had this product. But this is all the information that's on here, so this is what we want to get in your hands before we go into the store director's office. And you'll want to try and do this once a week. Even if you don't have a 4S report, if you just have some information, hey, here's how many pallets of product I sold last week. Here's what we have coming up. If you're able to give them direct margin numbers, printouts, when they have open space, you can say, I got this item and it's 17% direct margin. So they'll put that in the spot. But we'll go over this. We'll set up a time where I can meet with you and your store director. So at least the first meeting, I can be with you. And then if some of you don't feel comfortable yet, I can make repeat visits just to kind of walk you through the process. We want to get the store directors and the supermarket managers involved in our business as much as we are in theirs. They need to know this stuff and they need to have it available. So when they make decisions, they can come and say, hey, sir, I know you got this item and it's on sale and sells really well. Well, we need that. So they come to you. Like Ashley said, sometimes they tell her, hey, we have this space and we want you to have it. Well, she's the one in charge of finding out what's going to be on it. It's not, space for a yard sale. We don't want it 15 different items, but we want to have a key list of items. And I know that's online also, the top 10 items that they want us to promote. So that's something to think about. But I'll meet with you and your store director the first time. You and I can meet up together first so that we go over the information and we go in there prepared. Going in there unprepared is never fun, but want to make sure we at least have our part ready. I'm going over to Sum It Up. If you look at Sum It Up, you guys have been doing really well with this. When you write your schedules out, you have 2 weeks published, 2 weeks unpublished. I know that there's been some stores that when you go to write your schedule, you publish the following Sunday, which I think when we were trained, they said, change it to 7 p.m. So that it captures that last Saturday, which I'll show you. So if we're looking at, what's that? So we'll go to the schedule. The schedule's published, so I'm not going to mess anything up for her. But I already looked at this morning just to make sure everything was in compliance. So normally we would put, that entire week and then change this to 7 p.m. or whatever they told us to do, which would then publish the following shift for some reason. I got an email from Steve that I'm going to send to you guys that explains why that's happening, because it's not just one person. And usually if there's problems and I send it along, don't take it personal. It's because more than one person has had that issue, and I want everyone to be on the same page. So you don't need to email back saying, hey, I don't do that. If you don't do that, fine. But I want to make sure everyone has the same information. So that's something that you got to check when you're checking on Thursday to make sure that your schedule's all correct. You want to look, are all the dates listed? Well, then we go into the next week, make sure the ones that are published are ones that should. The next 2 weeks we have published. Well, then I'm looking for the third week. See the lines that it's unpublished. So you want to check that as well. Once you do your schedule, go back through it real quick. It only takes 2 seconds, but it keeps us off that report. Let's see. Mentorships. I know I talked to you guys the other day about mentoring other managers or managers possibly having a mentor. And I saw when I was talking to people that this may have come across the wrong way. By me offering you a mentor or suggesting that we do this, it's not because you're doing something wrong. It just means that someone's doing it proper and they can teach you a different way. Some of you guys do really well with certain things. Some of you are really good on communication, while others are not. I want you to see what good communication looks like. And I think when I pair you guys up and you're able to just meet one-on-one or even just talk about issues, you're not going to have that feeling of I don't want Eric to know I don't know this, or I don't want Scott to know I don't know this. You can go to another manager and say, hey, I didn't understand this. I get it all the time. Other market managers call me and say I didn't understand this, versus calling Scott, because they don't want to appear like they're I guess they want to appear like they know it and they'll figure it out. But 9 times out of 10, if you just go to the person and ask them what they mean, they'll explain it. I'd much rather explain something than have you take it the wrong way and not have it corrected. having a mentor, you guys can call each other and go over information. You can be, hey, did you read this the same way? Did you understand this, or what am I not getting about this? You want to be able to have someone you can call like that. I know it helps me. I have other managers that I call when I don't understand stuff, and I think it'll be good for some of you. I've paired some of you up already, and I'm still working on other areas, but I think that's something that we're going to have to get started so that you guys can become better managers. It's not that you're not good already. I want you guys to be better. I want you to have the opportunities available out there. So have the proper perception of this. Don't think of it as, I think you're failing somewhere. Have a perception of, I want you to be better. I want you to be able to promote yourself. So just take that, as it is. Time off PTO requests. Make sure you're putting this in properly. When you guys are doing payroll, I did notice if you don't go in and put the code next to the payroll, your PTO comes up as an exception. So if I'm Ashley and Christian has a PTO day, on Monday, if I don't go in and put the code on her PTO, even though she requested it, it's still going to come up as an exception when I go to approve payroll. So if you guys can make sure that that's being done, it'll save everyone time. Make sure that your people are putting their time in properly. If you have if you have ServView people putting in their time in ADP, make sure you're checking that, verifying it. Don't just take their word. Look at their timesheets. We have to have payroll into Val by noon on Monday. If you miss that deadline, they're going to email us and let us know. Honestly, we want to make sure they get paid properly, so make sure your time is in. I don't really see it being a problem. Just make sure that payroll's checked, double checked before Monday. You have your payroll into Val Monday by noon. I think that's it with payroll. It seems like we need to do some retraining on teams to follow rules. This isn't one store, and I've talked to people that have had these issues, so you know who you are, but it's multiple people. We want to make sure that your team is following the rules, just as I expect you to. You need to expect them to. When you're off, we shouldn't have to worry about them having drinks in the back room or wearing hoodies or headphones or not following dress code or no name badge. Those things need to be done every day, whether you're there or not. And if you're doing it in front of them, you're just promoting that idea. I've had managers with drinks in the back, and I take photos of it. This is an issue, and I'll talk to you and let you know. Next time I come in, it's going to be an issue between you and I. We don't want that. It's a dumb thing to get in trouble for. The rule is no food or drinks in the back room. It's Meyer policy, and most people know it's I used to do it, and he's caught me plenty of times doing it. Well, I've reformed and make sure that's one of the key things that I follow. If I go in and on your M cart there's 3 McDonald's cups, we're gonna have a talk. Let's make sure that you're taking care of that with your people and holding them accountable, and leading by example. You can't have drinks in the back. Take it to the break room. You can't wear sweaters out on the floor. If you have a hoodie on and you're stocking chips, that's not the right time. If they want to wear a sweater while they're doing ice cream, that's one thing, but that should be the only time. And, I don't want to hear the excuse of, oh, well, I've told them they're not fixing it. Well, what are we doing to change that then? Just telling someone and not holding them accountable does nothing. Just allows them to know that they can break the rules and there's no repercussions. So make sure that you guys are pushing that to them and following up. Hold them accountable. If they're a ServView employee, we start the process. We start with a verbal warning on working our way up. If they're an Adecco associate, we contact their Adecco recruiter, have them cover that with them. You can talk to them, but I'd still follow up with Adecco. We want to make sure people are following the rules, because if they're breaking that rule, they're probably breaking other ones. Do you have something?
Whenever you're done, I got a couple things.
Okay. On this?
Nope, I'll go back.
Okay.
Over.
All right. Training and staffing and developing your team is the next area I want to talk about. We want to make sure that we're training the people we have. I know the general rule of thumb with Servview has been to hire them in and let them sink or swim. We get busy, we get stressed, we have a lot of projects thrown at us, and we always say, hey, I'll show them that tomorrow. Well, tomorrow never seems to come. I've had a couple of people where their number twos haven't been trained on survival walks after months of being at the store. Or they don't know how to do BOH checks. That's stuff that we need to train them every day on. Yeah, it may take a little while, but the better you train them now, the less time you're going to spend with them later. The less time you're going to spend cleaning up their mess or doing something that they don't know how to do because you didn't train them. It's our job as managers to train them and make sure they have all the tools that they need for a proper day, making sure everything gets done. If I'm off, I'm making sure that you guys know what's going on the next day, that something happens, you're communicating that to whoever I deem, that you're checking the management portals, that kind of thing. So we want to make sure that you have that with your team. Don't just assume everything's going to get done. I know when Maggie's on vacation, she has detailed notes. She has them printed off. On Monday morning at 6 a.m., post this sign, and it lists everything that needs to be done. On Tuesday, post this sign, so her number two knows what she's doing. That works really well. Communication goes a long way. So that M-Plans management portal, we want to make sure that your team's checking that each day. If you're off and they're not checking the management portal, then we failed somehow, because they should know that's a requirement each day. Survival walks are a requirement each day. It's not an option. I was busy is not an excuse. That's part of our job. If we told them, hey, I was busy and I couldn't do your payroll, now you're not getting a check, that would affect them. We want to make sure that they know this is a part of the job that needs to be done daily. The Power BI, there's a lot of information to that, but that's one of the things that I've been sending you guys to show you your case rates or your pallet counts, and we've suggested getting you guys your pallet counts because you really need them. I know you guys get your cases sent, but it doesn't tell you how many pallets to expect. I have that information. I try and send as much as possible, but really getting that in your hands is what's needed. So it has been passed along. Safety meetings, they're going to send you that each month. I think we suggested having it online or an M-Plan, which would be better, but after you conduct your safety meeting, scan that sheet and send it to me until we figure out a different solution for that. Make sure your people are going through the training. And I know they're going to put stuff on ADP to make it a little bit easier for you. But I don't know what's going on with that. We're going to have more information. So once we do, I'll let you know. Last thing would be the team building exercise. A lot of people that said bowling. We need to do a team building for our entire area. All the employees. I know in a different area they just had a barbecue. Everyone came out and they were at the park, grilled up some food, played some games, raffle off prizes. I don't know if that's something maybe you guys want to do, because I'm not that great at bowling. Oh, Anthony's the only one that wants to bowl, so if we want some other options, but we want to try and set a date for. So I'll get with you guys next week, and we'll get on setting a date for that. But talk to your people, see who's willing to go to a barbecue, a company picnic, something like that, and then get back to me with a head count if you can. We'll have to set a date and time and all that, but we'll try and work around everything we can. So have some options. If you don't have anything better than a picnic, then talk to your people and see if they want to do it, so we can get a rough head count. I think that's it for me. I just want to go over this stuff with you guys because it's something we need to work on, and doing it individually is usually the way I go about it, but I want everyone to have the same information, and I know you guys will have questions and we can answer those as we come to them. But Scott wanted to share some stuff.
No, I just wanted to reemphasize a couple things that Eric was talking of. Leave that up there.
What?
Leave your sheet up there. A couple of things that Eric talked about. One being leadership. I want you to think more of yourselves as leaders instead of managers. I want you to think of your assistant managers as managers. So if I keep hearing, or I heard that we're having issues, it sounds like it's mostly on your days off. Well, we need to get the assistant managers to be as much of a leader as you are. So they should be enforcing all policies and procedures and processes just as if you were there. The most successful managers are the people that you don't know whether if they're there or not. So the store should run the same as when you're there or when you're not there. And if that's not happening, then you need to work with Eric on evaluating your assistant managers, and if we need to make a change at that level, then we need to make a change. But we need assistant managers who strive to become store managers. So this is kind of my thought. The other thing is mentorship. I've had many mentors over my career. I hope that I have mentored a few people, that they consider me their mentor. It's a very important thing for myself, and I've pushed that down to Eric. As a matter of fact, it was a part of his review this year, and I want our people to call you a mentor too. So anybody who's new is what I would call a green person. That's a developmental person. Then we need to be working with them to develop them. And 5 years down the road, they will call you their mentor. That you taught them the most out of anybody about management, about grocery retail. For myself, it was Colleen Toko, who I absolutely hated working for at the time, but she also taught me the most about management skills and abilities, and I've been very grateful to her for that, and realized that after she was gone, that even though she was really hard on me, she was really just hard on me to develop me and get me to the person and the manager that I am today. So, and I want you guys to do that for others as well. So that was about all I had. We're going to work on that team building exercise or picnic. And as I suggested to the other market manager, that I think we should have a dunk tank with the market manager being the first one in. So didn't happen in the other market. We'll see if we can get it to take place here. What do you think, Eric?
I'm up for it. All right. We have questions? Questions, feel free.
Going once.
Everyone did not say bowling, Anthony. I think that was you and maybe one other person. Stop trying to sell it. We all know you'd win. So.
Bowling is a wintertime activity.
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, I mean, don't hesitate to text, email, call. My phone's all good now. But I know you guys got my email earlier. I'm going to be off starting tomorrow through Monday. I don't expect there to be too many problems. You guys normally take care of it, so I don't assume Scott will get too many calls, but he is there if you need him.
Yep.
So don't be afraid to call if something goes on. It happens. So hopefully everything goes as planned. Anything I can wait, send me an email. I'll deal with it when I get back. I just want to thank you guys for everything you do for us. You're doing an awesome job, and we want to keep pushing that. I know some of these stores, they don't always tell you, but when I come in, they tell me this is the best team we've had. Serve is the best team we have in the store. And they tell other people that too. Word gets around. Your hard work does pay off, and I know you don't always hear it or get shown appreciation. I know I try to do my best to let you guys know that, but it doesn't go unnoticed. You guys help promote us. So we are thankful. Call me. I'll be available. Thank you for your time.